Welcome to the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast, a space where we break free from tradition, creating a wedding day totally authentic to you and your love story. I'm Abby, UK wedding planner and owner of Elegance Unlimited, here to help you plan a wedding day that feels uniquely yours. Join me for planning tips and advice, endless inspiration, and a pocket full of calm within the chaos that is wedding planning. Consider me a trusted friend, here to walk you through it all. From injecting fun splashes of personality into your day, to reinventing tradition completely, all whilst focused on building a day bespoke to your dreams and desires. I cannot wait to get started, so let's get planning. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast, episode 4, which is very exciting. That's a whole month's worth of episodes. It's gone really quick for me. Don't know if it's gone very quick for you, but I'm hoping that you're enjoying it nonetheless. Thrilled to be here. As always, I feel like I've mentioned it a couple of times already, but I've just wanted to do a podcast for the longest time since, starting my business and whatever else, and it just wasn't the right time yet, obviously launching a new business and growing and kind of gaining all my knowledge and all these different things. And I'm just so excited that now I feel like I have the capacity to be able to do this and to provide a space that's really helpful for people planning their weddings and engaged couples and everything like that. So I'm hoping that you are enjoying it as much as I am now that we've got kind of a good few episodes under our belt. But we really are just scratching the surface. There are so many things that I could talk about and so many things that we will talk about and we'll dive into and explore more and hopefully provide some really kind of helpful information and insights and inspiration for you. But we are just getting started. And with that being said, I've mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. If there is anything you specifically want to dive into on a deeper level or anything that's not been discussed yet that you really want to know more about, please let me know. All of the details on ways to contact me are in the show notes. The most direct way is probably email. You can send that straight over and I put it in a little folder full of all the things that people have suggested I talk about or questions or stories that people want to share on the podcast. Any of that can get sent over to me. And I'm really looking forward to this becoming more of a space for you guys, somewhere that we can kind of share and make it a really helpful space for you. So yes, although we are speeding our way through these first episodes and getting some new ones under our belt, do not think that we are anywhere nearing the end of anything. We are really just getting started, and I'm super excited to get some new episodes out for you and to keep sharing. Anyway, soppy little spiel over. Episode 4. Last week, episode 3, we talked about, what did we talk about? Oh, we talked about, there's only 4 episodes, so I literally can't remember what I've talked about. Last week, we talked about choosing the perfect venue. So we kind of, again, scratched the surface a little bit there on the kind of things you should be thinking about when choosing your perfect venue, the kind of questions you might want to ask. So if you are at that stage and you haven't yet chosen your venue, or you're in that kind of deliberation stage, that's a really good one to go back and listen to. And there's only 4 episodes, so it won't take you long to catch up. If you're brand new here, you can go back, you can listen to 1, 2, and 3, come back for number 4, and we'll be right here waiting for you. Just a quick reminder, in case you don't know who I am yet, my name is Abby. I am a wedding planner. I own a business called Elegance Unlimited, hence the name of this podcast being Your Wedding Unlimited. And this is a space for me to share my knowledge with you, my insights, my inspiration, for us to share and kind of connect together and make the wedding planning journey a really nice, fun, but stress-free place, because it can get chaotic and it can get tough and it can get stressful, and that's the last thing I want. The wedding planning journey itself is just as much of a memory making space than as the wedding day. Obviously the wedding day is the big end goal, obviously, but I see too many people wanting to rush through that wedding planning process just to get it over and done with. And that makes me really sad. And I want people to enjoy the wedding planning process and to find it enjoyable and make it feel like it's really working for them. So that's what we do here. That's what we talk about. That's what this space is going to be. So Yeah, let's get started. Episode 4. Today, you may have seen by the title, but we are talking about wedding fairs and what they are, what they're good for. Are they worth it? We're going to talk about it all today. I'm going to share a bit of my insights and yeah, we'll crack straight on into it. So, like anything, there are pros and cons. Okay. And it's subjective to a degree because everybody's going to have different pros and cons for wedding fairs. If you haven't been to a wedding fair before or you don't really know what they are essentially you get a big space and you put a load of wedding supplies in there to showcase what they do, and wedding couples, engaged couples like you, will go around and take a look. It's pretty simple. They're really fun. If you ask me, I'm going to put that straight off the bat. Wedding fairs are really fun. If they're done well, they are really, really good fun. And they're a really nice space to be in. It really kind of amps up that excitement for wedding planning, I think. If you're in, if you look at it that way, I think it really amps up that excitement, really makes it feel like a fun space, like somewhere really exciting, to be in that wedding planning process. So I really like them. That being said, there are reasons I don't like them and reasons that they don't work, which we'll dive into a little bit further. But to kind of give you a little rundown and a brief of what they are, it's essentially a fair where loads of wedding suppliers go, and essentially they're trying to sell their services to you. That's what it is. And you're going to see if you want to buy their services. The biggest reason that I think a wedding fair is a really good idea is for inspiration. And throughout that wedding planning process, the one thing you're going to be looking for continuously is inspiration, because there's so many choices out there and there's so many options. Now, that does come, it's a double edged sword in a sense that it's very easy to get too many ideas and to get a little bit too overwhelmed. So I completely understand that. And I know there's plenty of people that have kind of been put off the idea of going to a wedding fair because it does feel overwhelming, having so many people around you, trying to sell to you, and you're just wanting to go and get some ideas. I get it. It's a lot. Now, personally, I have done a few wedding fairs. I don't do them all the time as a wedding supplier, but I have done a few. So, I've got some knowledge there as to the kind of spaces that they are, and they can be really good fun, really good for inspiration, really good for kind of giving you a feel for the kind of things you do want and the kind of things that you definitely don't want. I talk about this a lot, you know, in my content and with the people I work with, but it's really important to get nailed down the things you definitely do want and the things you definitely don't want. And there's nothing wrong with saying I definitely don't want that. Very much of like the stuff we're fed, not just in the wedding industry, but in any kind of society in general, is that we shouldn't have an opinion too strongly on things that we don't like or don't want. But I disagree with that. Okay. If you definitely don't want something and you don't like it, it's okay to say that. You don't need to say it to the supplier's face. Okay. You don't need to be, offensive or rude about it, but you can say to your partner, it's not for us. You can say to your wedding planner, if anyone that hires me as a wedding planner, please tell me passionately the things that you don't like and don't want. And a wedding fair can really be a good place to figure out the things that you don't want. You might go around and you might have thought, say, during those initial wedding planning thoughts and ideas, oh, we really, really want this style of cake, or we really, really want to get a magician at our wedding, or we really, really want to get this kind of stationery. To do all of our stationery, our invitations and our menus and our signage and stuff. We really, really want this style. You could go to a wedding fair, see it in person and think, oh, actually, it's not for us. Maybe the magician just doesn't feel right for you when you've kind of seen them performing in front of you. Maybe you've gone and had a look at the type of invitations or, paper that you were thinking of doing and you're thinking, oh, actually, no, really, really don't like that. Like I said, don't need to tell them to their face. Let's be polite. But it's a good place for you to then go home and think, yeah, not for us. Cross that off, cross that off, cross that off. And you start to eliminate the things that have kind of been buzzing around your head for such a long time, because a lot of wedding planning is that. And I will tell you this now, as soon as that engagement bubble pops and you're in the wedding planning space, you'll see it on Instagram, you'll see it on TikTok. As soon as you begin searching for things and looking for inspiration, that's it. You're in there. Okay. Everything, weddings and ideas and things to do and trends and new ideas and things people have done is being thrown at you left, right, and center. Okay. It's overwhelming. It's a lot. So really being able to narrow down on the things that you do want and don't want, and kind of calm down that space in your mind where you've got a million things floating around thinking, should we do this? Should we do that? Should we do, I saw this and it was really good, but is that good for us? Should we do that? There's those questions will be everywhere. Okay. So this, going to a wedding fair is a really nice space to be able to say, okay, let's go. Let's just feel around a little bit, see what's out there, kind of take our time, take some ideas in, and just start to see things in person and kind of tick things off. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a really good thing. You'll also see at wedding fairs a lot of kind of unique or non-traditional suppliers, because not to say that they can't show effectively what they're doing in the online space, but where there is so much saturation in that online space, it's very easy to get lost. And sometimes you think, are the right people seeing the things I do? I do something so unique and so rule breaking and non-traditional, and this is really, I want to find the right people. You might see them at a wedding fair where they can really show you the value of what they're doing, particularly if it's a product and you can see it in person. That's a really, really good thing to be able to kind of take it from the online space where you've just seen it as a picture or a video and kind of see it in person is a really, really kind of good benefit of a wedding fair. Let us not forget, by the way, little side note, that if you are listening to this podcast, we like to break the rules a bit around here. We like to reinvent those traditions. Okay. We like the fun, high energy. We want to do things our way. We're not following those kind of cookie cutter template packaged weddings. We're doing things totally bespoke, totally unique. And if you're listening to this podcast, that's probably you. So, really, really good tip. You might find a lot of kind of unique suppliers at wedding fairs. Particularly, there are even, different types of wedding fairs. There will be wedding fairs that focus on the alternative, non traditional types of things. And you can go to those wedding fairs and just see a whole room of people that do things differently. And then the same goes for any kind of style or type of wedding. There are wedding fairs that cater to those, whether you're looking for traditional or modern, rustic, alternative. They do, you kind of even get the queer or LGBTQ plus friendly kind of wedding fairs. And I say that not because other wedding fairs aren't catered to queer weddings or anything like that, but there are wedding fairs that specifically have suppliers that kind of push that as their forefront. So if you're looking for a really safe space, they could be a really good idea for you as well. So there's different types of wedding fairs for different kinds of people, different types of weddings. So that's something to bear in mind. Not all wedding fairs are the same. And you can get wedding fairs that have been designed and created specifically to be a wedding fair, or you get the types where a venue is holding an open day or a wedding fair at their venue with a select few suppliers. They're usually a lot smaller, to showcase what can be done in the space. So different types of wedding fairs for different types of things. Have a think about what's going to benefit you. If there's a venue that you really, really love and you've got your eyes on and you think we're going to book this venue and they've got an open day coming up, go and take a look. Even if you've already booked that venue and you're having your wedding there next year, the year after, go to their open days, go to their wedding fairs and have a look at what can be done with the space, because that's really going to help you with your own inspiration, again, to see what you like, see what you don't like, and kind of narrow down those options. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Sometimes you think you love something and then you see it in person and everything changes and you're like, oh, we definitely don't like that. That doesn't look right, or something's not feeling right about it. It doesn't feel like us. So seeing things in person, along with getting inspired and everything else, is probably, one of the biggest reasons that I think wedding fairs are a really, really great idea. I know that they can be a really overwhelming space as well. I've had clients say to me, and people even I know say to me, that I feel really overwhelmed at the thought of going to a wedding fair and there's going to be all these people there that are trying to sell me things and there's so much stuff and it's just all going to be a lot. Yeah, it probably is. Okay, I'm not going to say that unless you go to a really small wedding fair where the energy's really calm and it's kind of really nice and chilled, then you might feel a little bit overwhelmed because it's busy and there's a lot going on, and they're usually very kind of high energy with people trying to have conversations and it's all very exciting. Even if you go to a small one, you're still going to essentially be trying to be sold things, and it's kind of, there's less people there to hide behind as well if you go to a really small one. But my advice would be to really kind of take it in your stride if you can and really make the most of that situation, because it's a really good opportunity. And of course, people are going to be trying to sell things to you. I don't agree with all of the ways that suppliers kind of push themselves on you and try to sell you things and ask you all these questions about your wedding if you're clearly not interested in having a conversation with them. I like to leave it up to the individual as to whether they want to have a chat to me, and not everybody agrees with that. So I can't get on board with that, unfortunately, and there will be people there that are really trying to push themselves on you for a conversation. But that being said, if you can handle it and you can be brave, then I think they're a really good place to just have a wander around. You can politely, excuse yourself to somewhere else if you just want to sweep. Avoiding eye contact is always a really great one. It's very clear. If you don't want to talk to someone, just avoid eye contact. And hopefully, if it's me, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not even going to say a hello. I'm just going to leave you be to do your thing. Some people don't heed that advice and they will kind of drag you out of the depths. Hello, hello, hello. But not everyone. Most people that I've met at wedding fairs are truly a delight. Really, really lovely, really, really good at what they do. And I think it's great to be able to have those conversations with people. So this is another reason that wedding fairs are really great, is because you can meet suppliers in person and you can see products in person. Something you can't do in the online space. Although social media and all the inspiration you get on there is amazing, you can't get it, that like in-person feel, the same way that you can at a wedding fair. I also think that being able to build that trust and connection, that's built in those conversations that you have in person. So, sometimes the selling point for booking a particular supplier is whether you really like them. And I always use that as a guide. I recommend everybody does that as a guide for, is this the right person for me? Do you like them as a person? Okay, because they're going to be part of your wedding team, your wedding dream team. And not all of them, stationers and people that you're buying things from beforehand aren't going to be there on the day, but the ones particularly that are going to be there on the day, your hair and makeup artists, your coordinators, the magicians, the entertainment, the band, a whole heap of people, your florists, even people that you're going to see, your photographers especially, can't believe I didn't say that first, they are going to be with you on the day. Okay, so whether you think their work is amazing and incredible, make sure that you like them as a person. And I think that's where it gets really important to kind of, scout through their Instagram, scout through their TikToks, their websites. What are they telling you about themselves? Do you think you'd get on as a person? Always, always, if you're not meeting them in person at a wedding fair or somewhere like that, always have a video call with them first, a phone call at minimum, but always have, somewhere to have a conversation and see how you get on if they're going to be a part of your day on the day. That's super, super important, because somebody's odd attitude or negativity, and unfortunately there are people like that in the wedding industry, that could make or break the atmosphere on your wedding day too. And you want someone that you get on with and that has, the same morals and ethics as you, to a degree. Obviously, we don't need to go too deep, but in the same sense that you think, oh, we agree on this and they're just like me in this sense. Those are the kind of people you want as your wedding team. Go to a wedding fair and chat to people, see what kind of people you meet, see what kind of suppliers feel like a good fit for you. And sometimes that makes you fall in love with their work even more, because you've been able to meet the person behind the work and think, oh my God, I just love them so much, I have to book them as my supplier. So definitely recommend that. And have a think. Is there someone that you've seen online when you've been doing your inspiration searches and doing all your research? Is there someone you've seen online that you can now go and meet at a wedding fair? Send them a message and say, are you going to any wedding fairs soon? Or, is there somewhere I can come and meet you to have a chat? A wedding fair is a great place to meet someone that you've already been eyeing up, because then you can kind of solidify if they are the right person for you and have that conversation, ask any questions that you've got about their services and things like that, and just kind of see if they're a good fit. It's a really, really good opportunity. So have a think and keep your eyes open for any open days or wedding fairs that they may be going to. And like always, I'm going to advocate for being organized and planning ahead. Going blind to a wedding fair is great because you don't know what you're in for. You're just kind of, we'll see what happens. Whatever will be, will be. It'll be great for inspiration. 100% true. Definitely recommend. But if you are the kind of person that likes to go a little bit more prepared, having a look at beforehand at who's going to be there, and scouting out on socials and things like that for anyone they've been sharing that's going to be attending and things like that, or anyone, like I've just said, that you've had your eye on that is going to be there. A bit of planning can be a great way to kind of get ahead of the game. And also discounts, freebies, you might get an add-on. So this is my next point about wedding fairs: freebies and giveaways. Need I say more? Okay, wedding fairs are full to the brim of them. Okay, You'll often get like a nice little goodie bag. Some of them do like an extra VIP package you can buy where you get like, a glass of fizz and then you get to go sit in a special area and you get a special goodie bag. Those ones are always fun. Okay. Who doesn't love a goodie bag filled with like fun little things and like extra vouchers and stuff? So you'll get lots of freebies at a wedding fair, particularly if there are bakers there. Okay. Try all the cake that you can because why not? Great opportunity. Also, giveaways. So wedding fairs, suppliers love to do a giveaway or a competition at a wedding fair because it helps us to reach more people and it drags people in without being too salesy. So, of course it's a tactic in its own right, but I think they're really valuable. If you've planned ahead, like my last point, and you've gone thinking there's a photographer here that I really really have had my eyes on, their work's amazing, and you go there and they've actually got a competition on to win 50% off a full photography package or win the whole thing or win an extra engagement session on top of it for free, then amazing. Because you've already had your eyes on them. So enter it, you might get it for free. You might get a discount. Bonus. And I recommend entering as many competitions as you can, to be fair. All you've got to do usually is hand over your email address and your name. Like anything else, it's not too invasive. But who doesn't love a competition? And who doesn't love a freebie? Okay, win win all round. That being said, discounts. A lot of wedding suppliers will offer discounts at a wedding fair. So, 20% off, 30% off, whatever discount they want to offer if you book them there and then or put a deposit down there and then. Okay, this is not the same as a freebie and it's not the same as a giveaway. Discounts are very different. Okay, and I have my, what's the word? Reservations about discounts at wedding fairs or any time, I suppose. Not to say they're not great. And if they work for the individual business, then great. As a supplier, that where it's going to bring you more couples to work with, it's great. Okay. But I'm advocating for the individual couple here. Okay. So I'm talking to you, the couple that's listening to this, the person that's planning their wedding. If someone is offering a discount at a wedding fair, I know it's going to be tempting, but please don't rush into contracts. Okay, because they are contracts. The same as anything else, you are committing to book that supplier and pay them the full amount of whatever you're agreeing to. They might be the perfect supplier for you, but they also might not. Okay. Because, like we've said, there's a lot going on. It's busy, it's overwhelming, you're excited. Maybe this is the first thing that you've done wedding related, since you kind of got engaged and you're kind of now starting the process and you're like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And you go there and all these people do amazing work and they're incredible. And you're seeing discounts and you're thinking, we could book them right now and we get a discount. So if we don't book them now, we're not going to get that discount. So we have to book them. And then you book them. Okay. That's fine because they might be the perfect person for you, as I've said. But I've talked about this in previous episodes when we've talked about budget. Have you planned adequately for that? Particularly if we're trying to keep ourselves within budget and stick to that budget through the entire process, it's really important to think these things through and not make impulse decisions. There are suppliers out there for every single budget range. Okay. There are suppliers that do amazing work at every single level of budget. Okay. So going and kind of purchasing something on the day because you feel like you might miss out on a discount, you haven't saved money, you still spent money. Okay. It's the same as anything else. I'm going to do that thing that people do when they're trying to remind you how budgeting and spending works. But if you've saved 30% on this package with this photographer, you've still spent the full amount of what they're asking you to pay. So you haven't saved any money in theory. Okay. So if this was a photographer that you'd seen on Instagram before, you've been browsing their work, you've had your eyes on them, you've seen they were going to go to this wedding fair, so you've gone, met them, had a chat, thought these are amazing, we love their work, they're within budget, oh, bonus, and they're offering a discount if we book them today, let's do it, then perfect. That is the perfect scenario. I love that for you, okay? That is what I want for everyone to experience. But if you're just booking them because you've got that scarcity mindset of thinking, oh, well, we're going to miss out on a discount. And what if we don't find another supplier that's perfect for us? You will. I promise. There is more than one perfect supplier out there for everyone. There's so many amazing suppliers. I can't get that across enough. There are so many suppliers doing God's work out there. They are incredible at what they do. So to miss out on one person, I don't always think is a make or break situation. My point being, in short, now that I've rambled on for a minute, is just to think things through. And one little tip that I always like to share is if someone is offering a discount at a wedding fair and you're really, really keen on them, but you just want like a day or two just to check your budget, think things over, make sure they're the right fit, ask them if they'll hold the discount. They might not. I would. If I was at a wedding fair and someone said to me, we're really, really keen on your work. We just want to run through our budget one more time and just make sure that, firstly, we can afford this and that this is the right choice for our wedding. If we get back to you within 48 hours, would you hold this discount for us? I would. And I know there's other suppliers out there that would. Some people won't, but my mindset is that, well, if I can afford to offer this discount in the first place, and if this is going to get me another couple to work with, another wedding to be a part of and plan, then yeah, I can afford to hold that for 48 hours because they asked and because they're keen and because they're excited about working with me. So therefore, I'm excited about working with them. Okay. So ask. They might hold it for you. And that gives you that time to go home, have a chat with your partner again, check things through, make sure it's the right fit for you, and then go back to them and say, yeah, perfect, we'd love to go ahead. And if they say no and you're actually still really keen and you decide to book them anyway, okay, you've missed out on a discount. It's not the end of the world, but at least you're 100% sure that that's what you wanted to go for. What I don't want anybody doing is making kind of rash decisions, not thinking things through, and then kind of booking someone and thinking, oh, that wasn't the right choice. And we've actually seen someone that we wish we'd booked now instead, but we're tied into this contract. We'll lose our deposit and we can't afford to do that. So just think things through. Okay. And you'll almost always get given something with everyone's information in. So, when you're picking up business cards and leaflets and things as you go around, don't panic that you're going to miss anyone as you're going around, because you'll almost always get given a little booklet or a little leaflet with, someone's all of the details of every supplier that was at the event there. Whether it's a QR code to find it online or anything, you'll be able to find it. So you can go home, sit down with a cup of tea and a bit of cake, whatever, or, a takeaway, whatever you want to do, and have a browse through and say, oh, yeah, I remember them. They were really great for this. Like, should we consider them? And, oh, yeah, I remember seeing them. They had that stand with these really beautiful dresses on. I'd love to go there and have a look at that. So don't panic that you're going to miss out on anything. I know that you feel like you're going to get that FOMO when you're walking around. I don't want to miss anything, and I don't want to not see anything, and I don't want to, feel like I've not got the full experience. I promise you will. Now, there are some things to remember or consider when we're talking about wedding fairs and, deciding if that is the right place for you, the right space, if you should bother going to any. Whilst I always say yes, you should probably try one. Just go to one, see if it helps you or not. If it doesn't help you, you haven't really lost anything, okay? Because you can still keep browsing social media, keep doing your Google research, wherever you're doing, whatever kind of wedding inspo you're doing, you haven't lost anything. But you might go on to a wedding fair and it could be the best thing for your wedding. You could find the perfect supplier. So there is that. But just some things to remember. There are so many suppliers that you will not ever see at wedding fairs, just because maybe they don't like doing them or they don't work for them as a business. As I've said already, I've done a few wedding fairs, but I don't do them religiously. That's not typically where I find my clients from and my couples. They tend to find me elsewhere. So for some people, it's an investment. It costs us to go there and to kind of, have that whole event going on. It's not worth it for every supplier to go and do a wedding fair. So they might decide that they just don't do them. And that's not part of their advertising, their marketing, their way to reach couples. So bear that in mind when you're going around. You are seeing such a small group of suppliers, and you can always look elsewhere. You're going to find amazing people in that room, but there are amazing people outside of that room too. Also, remember to make it a fun experience, make it a nice day out, part of your engagement journey. Try not to look at it as something really overwhelming or stressful or a chore that you have to do. It's supposed to be fun. And if you're really feeling like negative and kind of not really feeling it, then don't go, because it's not going to make you feel any better. This is, if you're feeling a bit anxious and overwhelmed, we can kind of get past that for the most part and just kind of try to enjoy it. But if you're actually feeling like, I just don't think it's going to be helpful for me and it's going to be miserable, then you don't have to go. No one's forcing you. Okay. No one has got a leash on you, pulling you and dragging you into that wedding fair saying, come and enjoy yourself and get some inspiration. Nobody's going to do that. Okay. It's your choice. And there are some people that wedding fairs are probably not going to be beneficial for. So, if you are super, super overwhelmed, and whilst I always recommend, like I said, trying to go because they're fun, They are fun and you can get some freebies and it's a nice day out. But if you really, really can't get past that and you're super overwhelmed, it's probably not going to be beneficial for you. So I wouldn't bother. Stay home, do your research online, find something that works for you instead, and keep it an enjoyable, peaceful process. That's what we want to keep in mind throughout any of the kind of planning journey. We're not doing anything to really stress ourselves out and make ourselves miserable. We want it to be calm and enjoyable. What did I talk about a few episodes ago? We want the 3 C's. Okay. We want to feel confident, calm, and in control. Okay. It's important. Okay. So if you're not feeling any of those things, if you're feeling totally out of control and overwhelmed and not confident at all, having to go to a wedding fair, then please don't go. I don't want to put you through that. I'm not gonna force you. So you shouldn't be putting yourself through that either. Okay. If you are almost finished with your planning, wedding fairs, you've probably missed the mark there. It's probably going to be a bit too late for you to go, and you might get a final couple of ideas, something you could add in if you've got a bit of extra budget left and think, oh, that's a good idea, let's do that. But for the most part, most of it probably won't be relevant for you. So I probably wouldn't recommend it for those types of people. Or if you know exactly what you want, my favorite kind of person, by the way, if you know exactly what you want, you've got it all down, you know exactly what you're looking for, you just need to book them and you've had it arranged in your mind for years already. Firstly, love you for that. Secondly, a wedding fair is probably not going to be helpful for you then. It's either going to be a waste of time because you already know what you want, or it's going to confuse you and make you question all the things that you thought you already knew. So maybe not worth it for you in that sense either. But I think we can, with confidence, say that after this episode, ultimately, I think wedding fairs can be a really great thing. You just got to treat them like anything and do it sensibly, treat them wisely, and just enjoy yourself, I think. So some key things to remember if you are thinking about going to a wedding fair or wondering if they are worth going to. They are great for inspiration. You will find heaps of amazing suppliers there doing incredible work. They are amazing for that initial kind of inspiration of what is possible for our wedding day. Freebies and competitions or giveaways are a bonus, okay? Who doesn't love a freebie or a bit of cake or a nice little cute notebook or some vouchers for here, there, and everywhere? Amazing. Discounts, on the other hand, are nice, but only if you're going to buy from them anyway. Okay, no impulse spending around here. Getting the chance to meet suppliers in person and have those conversations is always amazing and something that I think should be held to such a high value. And likewise, getting to see products physically in person, put your hands on them, see them, feel them, all of those things is a really, really valuable thing as well. But remember, you will only see a very small selection of suppliers there. They are not the only suppliers that you have a selection to pick from for your wedding. So whilst it's great for inspiration, it can be a really nice starting point to kind of see what you do like and what you don't like as well. And if you're a really, really long way through your planning, you've ticked so many things off the list and you're just tying up those loose ends, it's probably not going to be worth it for you to go at that point because it'll either confuse you or it'll be a waste of your time. So I want to know if you have been to any wedding fairs and what your thoughts were, or are you planning to go to any wedding fairs? And has this answered some questions for you before you go? I want to know all of it. Okay. If you've been to some wedding fairs, let me know what the best ones you went to were, because like I say, I've been to a few, but I've not been to all of them. And I know there's some really, really, really good ones out there. So I would love to know your thoughts. If you have any more wedding fair related questions, do let me know. I can do another episode, or I'm always happy to answer questions in my DMs or in the Your Wedding Unlimited Facebook group. So you can come and join us there. But let me know. Do not leave those questions unanswered. If you have one, make sure to ask me and I will help you out. Next time, I think next episode, we are going to be diving into some ways to make your day more personal, bespoke, more unique. So a really kind of inspirational episode for you there if you're in the depths of trying to figure out how you want your wedding day to look. That's going to be a really good one. So make sure you check back next Wednesday. Remember, I release episodes every single Wednesday, so you can come back and get some more inspo. And I think that's everything for this week. So happy planning for the week. Let me know if you've got any questions, and I will speak to you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast. I hope you're feeling inspired and excited to create your dream wedding day and those lasting memories. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. I'll be back next Wednesday with more tips, advice, and inspiration. In the meantime, don't be a stranger. Come and find me on Instagram and TikTok at Your Wedding Unlimited, where I share even more wedding ideas and behind the scenes insights. You can also watch these episodes on YouTube at Your Wedding Unlimited. And if you're looking for even more support, come and join my private Facebook group, Your Wedding Unlimited. It's an amazing community of fun and authentic engaged couples, packed with extra tips, advice, and insights to guide you along your journey. If you have any questions or need more info, you can DM me or send me an email at yourweddingunlimitedpodcast@gmail.com. All links and details will be in the show notes. Until next time, happy planning!